Welcome to another episode of the Rise Up podcast. In this 30-minute session, we dive into a variety of thought-provoking topics designed to challenge your thinking, expand your vocabulary, and equip you with valuable knowledge. Along the way, you'll get the chance to practice your listening skills through different voices and perspectives. If you want to follow along or need a reference, be sure to check out the PDF transcript I've prepared, available in the description. So get comfortable, and let's begin this journey of learning and growth together.
Do you prefer summer or winter? Why? That's such a classic question, and honestly, I'd say I'm more of a summer person. Don't get me wrong, winter has its charm, cozy sweaters, hot chocolate, and maybe some snow days if you're lucky. But for me, summer just has this vibe that makes everything feel more alive. First of all, the sunshine. There's something about those long, bright days that really lifts my mood. I feel like I have more energy, and I can actually get outside and enjoy life. Whether it's heading to the beach, hiking, or just chilling at a park, summer gives me that sense of freedom. Another thing, summer feels more social. People are out and about, barbecues are firing up, and you've got all those outdoor festivals and concerts. It's like the season brings everyone together, and I love that. Plus, there's something unbeatable about eating ice cream on a hot day. Of course, summer isn't perfect. The heat can get a little intense, especially when you're stuck in traffic with the AC barely working, but I'll take that over shoveling snow any day. Winter can feel so quiet, almost too quiet. And don't even get me started on how it gets dark at like 5 p.m. in the winter. It's such a mood killer. So yeah, summer wins for me. It's not just about the weather, it's about the whole experience. It's like everything feels brighter, lighter, and just more fun.
What is your favorite way to relax after a long day? Honestly, it really depends on the kind of day I've had, but my go-to way to unwind is pretty simple. I love just kicking back with something that helps me disconnect. If I'm totally wiped out, I'll usually grab a cozy spot on the couch, throw on some sweatpants, and watch a show or movie that doesn't require a lot of brain power. Something light and funny, like a sitcom or a feel-good rom-com. It's like hitting the reset button for my mind. If I've got a little more energy, I'll go for something a bit more interactive, like cooking. I find it super relaxing to put on some music or a podcast and make a meal. There's something therapeutic about chopping veggies or stirring a sauce. It kind of forces you to be present in the moment. Plus, you get to enjoy something delicious afterward, which is always a bonus. On days when I feel like I need to physically shake off the stress, taking a walk outside is my thing. Even just 15 or 20 minutes around the neighborhood can do wonders. Breathing in some fresh air, stretching my legs, and listening to nature, or maybe my favorite playlist, really helps me clear my head. And if all else fails, a hot shower or bath is my ultimate remedy. It's like washing the day away, literally. I'll even light a candle or two if I'm feeling fancy. There's nothing like stepping out of the shower and into clean pajamas to make everything feel right again. So yeah, my favorite way to relax depends on the day, but it's always about finding that little thing that makes me feel grounded and recharged.
Do you enjoy cooking? If yes, what is your signature dish? Oh, absolutely. I love cooking. It's one of those things that's both creative and calming for me. Plus, there's something really satisfying about making something from scratch and then getting to enjoy it. Or better yet, sharing it with friends and family. As for my signature dish, I'd say it has to be my homemade pasta with creamy garlic Alfredo sauce. It's such a simple, comforting meal, but when you make it right, it feels like something you'd get at a fancy restaurant. I usually start by making fresh pasta dough. It's easier than people think and totally worth it. Then I whip up the sauce with butter, cream, garlic, and a mix of Parmesan and Pecorino cheese. The key is to balance the flavors so it's rich without being too heavy. I like to mix it up by adding different toppings, depending on my mood. Sometimes it's grilled chicken or shrimp, other times it's roasted veggies like mushrooms or asparagus. And of course, you can't forget the fresh basil and a sprinkle of cracked black pepper on top. Cooking for me isn't just about eating, though. It's about the process, trying new ingredients, experimenting with flavors, and even the little mistakes that teach you something new. So yeah, I enjoy cooking, and if you ever come over for dinner, you're probably getting pasta.
Do you believe in fate or free will? Why? This is one of those big, deep questions, right? And honestly, I think it's a bit of both. I lean more toward believing in free will, but I also see how fate can play a role in shaping our lives. It's kind of a balancing act between the two. Here's the thing. I believe we have the power to make our own choices. The decisions we make, big or small, shape our paths. Every time we choose one direction over another, we're exercising our free will. We can choose to work hard toward a goal, take risks, or change our mindset. And the freedom to create our own future. That's something I really believe in. But then there are those moments when life just seems to throw something unexpected at you. Sometimes things happen that feel like they were meant to be. Like meeting someone at just the right moment, or finding an opportunity you never saw coming. Those fateful moments can feel like they're guiding us in a certain direction, even when we don't fully understand why. So, while I definitely believe we have the power to steer our own ship, I also think fate or some kind of universal force can nudge us along the way, especially when we least expect it. Life is a mix of both, our choices and the mysteries of what's meant to be.
Are you more of an introvert or an extrovert? I'd say I'm definitely more of an introvert, but I don't think it's a black and white thing. I can totally enjoy social situations, but I also need my downtime to recharge. After being around people for a while, whether it's a big social gathering or even just a busy day at work, I tend to feel drained and need some quiet time to get back to 100%. I enjoy deep, one-on-one conversations over large group events, and I find that I'm at my best when I'm doing solo activities, like reading, writing, or just thinking things through on my own. That's when I feel the most in tune with myself and at peace. That said, I do have moments when I really enjoy getting out there, meeting new people, and sharing experiences. I just think for me, it's all about balance. I need a little time to refill before I can dive into those extroverted moments. So, I guess you could say I'm an introvert who enjoys the occasional extroverted adventure.
Do you prefer to work alone or in a team? Why? It really depends on the task, but I'd say I lean more toward working alone. When I'm working solo, I have complete control over how things go, and I can focus deeply without distractions. It's easier to get into a flow when it's just me and the work, and I can take the time to figure things out at my own pace. Plus, I'm really good at sticking to my own system and schedule, which helps me be more productive. That being said, I definitely see the value in working with a team. Collaboration can bring in new ideas, and having different perspectives makes the work stronger. I love brainstorming with others, bouncing ideas around, and learning from people with different skills. But I do tend to prefer smaller teams where communication is smooth and everyone is on the same page. Too many voices can feel overwhelming. So, while I'm comfortable working alone, I also enjoy team efforts when the group dynamic is right. It's all about finding that balance where both individual focus and teamwork can come together to create the best outcome.
Are you a morning person, or do you need time to wake up? I'm definitely someone who needs a little time to wake up. Mornings aren't my favorite part of the day, and I can't just jump out of bed and hit the ground running. I like to ease into the day, usually with a cup of coffee and a bit of quiet time before diving into anything. I've found that I'm much more productive once I've had that slow start. I'll take my time getting ready, maybe scroll through my phone for a bit, or just sit in silence to gather my thoughts. It's not until I've had that time to fully wake up and get moving that I feel like I'm really in the zone. That said, once I'm up and going, I can get into the swing of things pretty quickly. It's just that I'm not the type of person who is all bright-eyed and energetic first thing in the morning. Give me a few minutes, and I'll be ready to tackle the day. But I need that little moment to adjust.
Is it harder to stay motivated to exercise or to maintain a healthy diet? For me, staying motivated to exercise is definitely the harder part. It's easy to get caught up in the busyness of life and push workouts to the back burner. On days when I'm tired or when my schedule gets packed, exercising can feel like a chore, and that initial push to get started is always the toughest. But once I actually do it, whether it's a workout or a quick walk, I feel so much better, both physically and mentally, that it makes it all worth it. It's just getting over that mental block to begin with that can be challenging. As for maintaining a healthy diet, I actually find it a bit easier. I'm all about balance, so it's not about cutting out everything I love, but making smarter choices. The key for me is planning ahead. If I've got healthy meals or snacks ready to go, I'm less likely to fall into bad habits. I also enjoy cooking and trying new recipes, which keeps things interesting. Sure, there are days when I crave something unhealthy, but in general, once I make eating healthy a habit, it becomes second nature. So yeah, while both exercise and diet require effort, for me, staying motivated to exercise tends to be the bigger challenge. It's all about finding the right routine and staying consistent with it.
What role does mindfulness play in your daily life? Mindfulness is something I try to weave into my day as much as possible, even though I'm definitely not perfect at it. I think it plays a huge role in helping me stay grounded, especially when life gets busy or stressful. Practicing mindfulness, even in small ways, helps me stay present and avoid getting caught up in thoughts about the past or future. For me, it can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths before a busy meeting or focusing on the task at hand instead of worrying about everything else I need to do. It's about being aware of what's happening right now and letting go of distractions. Sometimes I'll take a short walk and pay attention to my surroundings, the sound of birds, the feeling of the wind, or just the rhythm of my steps. Those little moments help me reset and refocus. Mindfulness also plays a big part in how I handle stress. Instead of reacting to situations impulsively, I try to pause, take a breath, and choose how I respond. It's not always easy, but it definitely makes a difference in how I handle challenges. I wouldn't say mindfulness is something I'm always great at, but I can tell it's a game changer when I make an effort to be more mindful in my day-to-day life. It keeps me more aware of my emotions and helps me stay calm and focused, no matter what the day brings.
Do you think social media has changed the way we view self-image? Absolutely. Social media has had a huge impact on how we see ourselves, and not always in a positive way. The platforms we use today are so visual, and it's easy to get caught up in comparing ourselves to what we see online. It's like everyone's life is curated, filtered, and perfectly posed, which can make it feel like we're not measuring up. We start to think, why don't I look like that? Or, why isn't my life as exciting as theirs? That comparison game can mess with our self-esteem, especially since we're often only seeing the highlights of other people's lives, not the full picture. On the flip side, social media can also be empowering. It's allowed people to share their real selves, flaws and all, and connect over shared experiences. There are movements around body positivity, mental health awareness, and breaking down unrealistic beauty standards. So, in that sense, social media has opened up a space for people to feel more confident and accepted for who they truly are. But overall, I think the way social media promotes perfection, whether it's the flawless skin, designer clothes, or perfectly curated life, has definitely made it harder for people to embrace their real selves. It creates an environment where the ideal becomes the standard, and it can be hard not to measure yourself against it. In the end, it's all about balance. Social media has its benefits, but we need to stay grounded and remind ourselves that our worth isn't defined by what's on a screen. It's about embracing who we are in the moment and not letting the filtered versions of others set the bar for how we should feel about ourselves.
How do you feel about people posting personal moments online? I have mixed feelings about it. On one hand, I totally get why people share personal moments. Social media can be a way to connect with others, celebrate milestones, and document life's big and small moments. It's nice to share a joy or experience with friends and family, especially if they're far away. Some of those posts can be really heartwarming, like seeing someone announce an engagement, a new baby, or just a fun vacation. On the other hand, I do think there's a line that can get blurred sometimes. When personal moments are shared too much, it can feel like privacy gets compromised. Not everything needs to be posted for the world to see. And sometimes I think it's nice to keep certain experiences for yourself or your close circle. When you put everything online, it can feel like you're inviting others into spaces that should remain a bit more private, and that can come with some emotional risks. There's also the pressure to create an idealized version of your life on social media. People may feel like they need to post only their happiest, most exciting moments, and that can make it hard for others to be honest about their own struggles. It can lead to comparison or make people feel like they're behind in life because they're not posting these perfect snapshots. In the end, I think it's all about balance. Sharing personal moments can be meaningful, but it's important to think about why you're sharing and who you're sharing with. Sometimes, keeping things private or in the moment can be just as valuable as sharing them with the world. It's really about what feels right for each person.
Do you believe self-care practices like yoga or meditation help improve mental health? Yes, absolutely. I think practices like yoga and meditation can make a huge difference when it comes to mental health. Both of these practices are about slowing down, being present, and tuning into your body and mind. Things that are so important, especially in today's fast-paced world. Meditation, for example, helps to clear the mind, reduce stress, and bring more focus. It's like taking a mental break where you can let go of all the worries and just be in the moment. Even just 5 or 10 minutes a day can help lower anxiety, calm the mind, and create a sense of peace. I think one of the biggest benefits of meditation is teaching you to pause before reacting to things, which can help in dealing with stress or tough emotions more effectively. Yoga, on the other hand, combines movement with mindfulness. It helps to release physical tension, which in turn helps release mental tension. The deep breathing and stretching can calm the nervous system and make it easier to deal with the everyday pressures that come our way. Plus, yoga often encourages a deeper connection with your body, which can build confidence and promote a more positive self-image. For me, both practices can serve as a kind of reset button. When I'm feeling overwhelmed or stressed, taking the time to either meditate or do some gentle yoga can shift my mindset and help me regain balance. Of course, self-care looks different for everyone, but I think these practices are valuable tools for improving mental health, helping to reduce stress, boost mood, and promote a sense of well-being.
Do you prefer group workouts or exercising alone? I'm definitely someone who enjoys both, but I tend to lean toward exercising alone. I find that when I work out by myself, I can focus fully on my own rhythm and goals. There's a sense of freedom in being able to move at my own pace, whether I'm going for a run, doing strength training, or practicing yoga. Exercising alone allows me to clear my mind, listen to my body, and sometimes get into a kind of flow where I can just focus on the exercise itself. That said, I do love the energy of group workouts when I'm in the mood for them. There's something motivating about being around others who are pushing themselves, whether it's in a fitness class, a team sport, or even just a group run. It's a great way to bond with others, share the experience, and get that extra push to go harder or try something new. The vibe of a group workout can make exercise feel more fun and less like a solo task. In the end, it depends on my mood and what I'm looking to get out of the workout. If I want peace and focus, I'll go solo. If I'm craving some social motivation and a sense of community, a group workout can be really energizing. Both have their own benefits, so I try to mix it up, depending on what feels right at the time.
Is it respectful to photograph strangers in public places? I think it really depends on the situation, but in general, it's important to be mindful and respectful when photographing strangers in public. Public spaces do offer a certain level of openness, and technically, people in public can be photographed. However, just because you can doesn't always mean you should, especially if the person might feel uncomfortable or violated. For me, it comes down to the context and how it's being done. If you're capturing a candid moment where someone is part of a larger scene, like at a festival or in a crowded city, it's less intrusive, and most people probably won't mind. But if you're focusing on an individual, getting too close, or taking photos without their consent, that's when it crosses a line. Everyone has the right to privacy, even in public,
and it's important to respect that. It's always better to ask for permission, especially if the photo is for something personal or creative. A simple, "Would you mind if I took your picture?" can go a long way in making someone feel respected and valued rather than just another subject to photograph. And if you're unsure how someone might feel, it's better to err on the side of caution and not take the photo. So, overall, while it's not inherently disrespectful to photograph strangers in public, the key is to approach it with consideration and awareness of how your actions might affect others. Respecting personal boundaries and being sensitive to the situation is what makes it respectful.
Do you prefer driving your own car or using public transportation? Honestly, it really depends on where I'm going and the situation. If I'm heading somewhere close by or if I have a lot to carry, driving my own car is definitely more convenient. It gives me the freedom to go at my own pace, control the music, and have my own space. Plus, there's something nice about not having to worry about schedules or making connections like you would with public transportation. However, when it comes to longer trips or being in a busy city, I actually prefer public transportation. It's less stressful than dealing with traffic, and I don't have to worry about finding parking, which can be a headache. Public transport also gives me a chance to relax, read, or catch up on things on my phone, which I wouldn't be able to do if I were driving. In some cities, it's also much faster than sitting in traffic, especially during rush hour. So I'd say I'm a bit of a mix. For short, casual trips or when I need flexibility, I'll take my car. But for long distances or when I just want to relax and not deal with the hassle of driving, public transportation wins. It all depends on convenience and how I'm feeling that day.
What are the pros and cons of public transportation in your city? Pros: convenience and accessibility. In my city, public transportation is pretty widespread and easy to access. Buses and trains run regularly, so it's often a reliable option to get around, especially for those without cars. It's great for people who need to travel to different parts of the city or don't want to worry about parking. Cost-effective. For the most part, using public transportation is a much cheaper option than owning a car. With the rising cost of gas and maintenance, taking a bus or subway is an affordable choice, especially for daily commuters or students. Environmental benefits. Public transportation is much more eco-friendly compared to driving a car, especially in a busy city. Fewer cars on the road means less pollution and less traffic, which is a win for everyone. Avoiding traffic. In busy urban areas, traffic can be a nightmare. Public transportation, especially subways or trains, often have dedicated lanes or underground routes, so they're not as affected by street traffic. This can make getting around faster in some cases. Cons: crowded. During peak hours, one of the biggest downsides is how crowded buses and trains can get during rush hour. If you're traveling during peak times, it can be uncomfortable and you might have to stand for long periods. It's not always the most pleasant experience, especially in bad weather. Delays and reliability. While public transportation is generally reliable, there are always those days when buses or trains are delayed or canceled, which can throw off your plans. Waiting in the cold for a late bus isn't fun, and service interruptions can be frustrating. Limited coverage in certain areas. Not all neighborhoods are well connected by public transportation. If you live in an area that's further from major bus or train routes, it can be inconvenient to rely on public transport. You might need to walk a long way to the nearest station or take a connecting bus. Lack of privacy. Public transport doesn't offer the same privacy as driving your own car. You're sharing the space with a lot of people, and it can sometimes be noisy or uncomfortable. Plus, there's always that worry about personal space or being too close to others. In short, public transportation in my city is definitely a practical and affordable option, especially for getting around quickly and reducing your carbon footprint. But it has its drawbacks, like overcrowding, occasional delays, and limited routes in some areas. Whether it's the best option really depends on the time of day and where you're going.
Do you prefer traveling on a budget or indulging in luxury vacations? I'd say I lean more toward traveling on a budget, but I do think it's about finding a balance. There's something really freeing about being able to explore new places without breaking the bank. Budget travel pushes me to be creative, whether it's finding cheap flights, staying in hostels, or trying local food instead of fancy restaurants. It feels more authentic to me, and I like the idea of making the most of my travel experience without spending a ton of money. Plus, the flexibility to spend on activities that really interest me or to extend my trip is a big perk. That said, I definitely enjoy a bit of luxury now and then. There are moments when splurging on a nice hotel or a first-class flight just feels worth it. Maybe it's a special occasion, or maybe I just want to treat myself after a long stretch of traveling on a budget. There's something about the comfort and relaxation of luxury vacations that can be hard to beat, like having everything planned out for you, great service, and top-notch amenities. So, in the end, it's not about choosing one over the other. I'm all for budget travel when I want to experience a place more intimately and stretch my dollars. But I also think luxury vacations have their time and place, especially when I want to unwind and fully enjoy the experience without worrying about every little detail.
Do you enjoy dressing up for special occasions or prefer casual wear? I definitely enjoy dressing up for special occasions. There's something about putting on a nice outfit, whether it's for a wedding, a holiday gathering, or a fancy dinner, that feels exciting and makes the event feel even more special. I like how dressing up can boost your confidence and make you feel polished and put together. Plus, it's a chance to express myself with different styles, whether it's a sleek suit, a cute dress, or just something that makes me feel great in the moment. That being said, I'm all about comfort too, and casual wear is my go-to for everyday life. I love the ease of throwing on jeans, a t-shirt, and sneakers. It's practical, relaxed, and perfect for running errands or hanging out with friends. Comfort plays a big role in how I feel throughout the day, so casual wear definitely has its perks. In the end, I'd say it depends on the occasion. I enjoy the chance to dress up for special events, but when it comes to everyday life, nothing beats the comfort and simplicity of casual wear. It's all about striking the right balance for me.
How do you feel about self-improvement? What's the best quality you've developed? Self-improvement is something I'm really passionate about. I believe that life is a constant journey of growth, and there's always room to learn and get better. Whether it's picking up a new skill, improving mental resilience, or developing healthier habits, self-improvement allows us to shape the kind of person we want to be, and that's incredibly empowering. The best quality I've developed over time, I'd say, is resilience. I've learned to bounce back from setbacks with a more positive mindset, to not let failures define me, and to keep pushing forward, even when things get tough. Resilience isn't just about dealing with big challenges, it's also about handling the small day-to-day frustrations without letting them throw me off track. I've found that when you can stay grounded and focused in the face of adversity, everything becomes a little easier to handle. Of course, self-improvement is an ongoing process, and I'm always looking for ways to grow. But resilience has been a game changer for me. It's given me the strength to keep going, even when things don't go as planned. It's not about avoiding challenges, but about learning to thrive through them.
What's your go-to wardrobe choice when you need to feel confident and empowered? When I need to feel confident and empowered, I usually go for something that's both stylish and comfortable. A well-fitted blazer is my go-to piece. It instantly makes me feel more put together and in control. Whether I'm wearing it with a simple shirt and jeans or pairing it with a sleek dress, the structured look of a blazer has this magic power of making me feel professional and confident. I also love wearing bold colors, like deep reds or navy blue. There's just something about these colors that makes me feel stronger and more assertive. It's not just the clothing itself, but how the right outfit can change your mindset. I like to choose pieces that make me stand tall and own the space I'm in. And of course, comfort is key. If I feel physically at ease in what I'm wearing, I'm way more likely to feel confident. A combination of good fit, a little bit of edge, and something that feels like me always sets the right tone for a confident, empowered day.
Do I prefer watching team sports or individual sports? I'd say I lean more toward watching team sports. There's something about the energy of a team working together toward a common goal that really excites me. The strategy, the teamwork, and the way players feed off each other's energy, it's all so dynamic. Whether it's basketball, soccer, or football, the highs and lows of a team sport can be so thrilling, and the sense of camaraderie among teammates adds an emotional layer that makes the game more engaging. Plus, you never know what will happen next, and that unpredictability keeps me on the edge of my seat. That being said, I do appreciate individual sports too. There's something impressive about watching someone push themselves to their absolute limit, whether it's in tennis, swimming, or track and field. The dedication and personal drive are inspiring, and I love seeing athletes overcome their own barriers. But overall, the drama and excitement of team sports just draw me in more, especially when it comes to the atmosphere and the sense of unity in cheering for one side. That wraps up today's episode of the Rise Up podcast. I hope you found these discussions insightful and helpful in your journey of learning and personal growth. Don't forget to download the PDF transcript if you want to revisit any part of the episode or reinforce your understanding. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, keep rising up and embracing the knowledge that helps you grow.